Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. First off, I want to say thank you to every single person that commented once you found out about what happened to me health-wise. It has been quite an adventure trying to get my breath back and doing cardio rehab. It hasn't stopped me though. I've actually been doing a lot of traveling. Actually went and saw Chris Way. You guys know that from the video that I put out last week. Playing around with the Panthera. It was really cool stuff. So thank you. As far as the video goes, this actually goes back a little ways. I actually had some other footage that I shot with Kenny. However, it came out a little blurry, so I'm having to reshoot it. So first off, big shout out to DP Gunworks, Kenneth I, for building this rifle, or what we deemed as the ultimate PRS rifle. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to start off with something that was suited perfectly for PRS. Kind of like that ultimate build. If you could have your dream build, what would it be? So Kenny and I were sitting around one night, we were talking about what would we build as an ultimate PRS rifle. And so for that, we wanted to stick with a PRS cartridge. You guys know I like the 6 Creedmoor as well as the 6.5 Creedmoor, but playing around with these little short cartridges like the BR and the BRA and the BRX and the 6-Dasher, while those do really, really well, we wanted to try something a little different. So first and foremost, we went with the 6 GT or the Gay Tiger. For those that aren't familiar with the Gay Tiger, it actually started as a meme. It kind of caught on, and even I think Alpha Munitions had head-stamped brass that said Gay Tiger, but it actually stands for Gardner and then Tom. So it was George Gardner with Tom Jacobs, or it might stand for George and Tom, but they're the ones that actually invented the 6 GT cartridge. All right, so why 6 GT? Well, we wanted something that was commercially available, because you can buy the ammunition directly from GA Precision, but we also knew we were going to have better results with hand loads. So first and foremost was the actual cartridge itself. And then we wanted to look at the barrel. So in choosing the barrel, we wanted to go with something different that we'd never built before, and so we did choose the Brux barrel. I have no experience with Brux. This is actually going to be my first Brux barrel, and Kenny didn't have any experience with those in a PRS build either. We chose to go with a 26-inch 1.20 straight profile. That way we wouldn't have to put any type of weights in any type of chassis that we were using, and it would get that balance point well forwards. The other thing we looked at was the brakes. Now this is the MBM brake, and the reason we chose that is because having that 120 barrel, what we didn't want to do was turn down the threads to where we were a 5/8 24. Because it's been shown that when you start getting closer and closer to that bore, you can actually lose a little bit of that constriction within the bore itself. Kenny's actually seen that and measured it on his air gauge to show that that could happen. So we opted to go with a 3/4 24. So it's a large threading, and that way we had this machine down. This is the self-timing muzzle brake. It is very effective after shooting it, and it has been blended so you can't even see it where it goes into the barrel itself. Now, as far as the chassis, you guys know that I like MPAs, I like the Accuracy International chassis. We wanted to choose something different, so I do want to give a shout out to Manhole Customs. Jamie over there had a JP Enterprises, the APAC, the Advanced Precision Ambidextrous Chassis, and we wanted to try it. I didn't know how it was going to feed, because one of the downsides of this chassis is it does not have an adjustable mag catch. However, in putting this in this chassis, we've had 0 issues with feeding, works really well, and this one is a folder. That is actually something that I like. While some of you guys might disagree and say that you want a fixed stock, it does aid you in being able to clean it and maintain it, and this has no wobble or any play, and the lockup is very solid on it. It does have an integrated spirit level here, and another thing that I like about the JP stuff, it's always top quality. What I like is it's very solid on the back. You can adjust these thumb wheels so that it locks out any type of play, so there's 0 rattling, and everything back here is solid. Now, one of these JP APAC chassis is going to set you back about $1,700 to start. Then you've got to buy the Arca Swiss rail or Picatinny rail. Then you have to buy the bag rider. Then you have to buy the weights. So it can get very costly very quickly when choosing one of these. However, you are getting a premium brand. The choice in the bipod is actually going to be the Thunder Beast arms. It is still one of my favorite bipods in conjunction with the Skypod at any type of match. One of the reasons that I like it is because it does have a very, very smooth cant to it. It's very easy to deploy the bipod on the clock. You can still do the 45s very quickly. and it's just a great bipod. Love it to death. As far as the optic, I still think it's going to be hard to beat the Zeiss S3. While I do like the tangents and the night forces and the ZCOs and everything else, I think for that $24.99 price point, I really don't know how you can do much better with optics, especially with the coatings that Zeiss puts on there. You guys know that I'm a huge fan. I don't think, bang for the buck, you're going to be able to beat it. Now, for the rail, we did go with a Defiance Machine rail up top. And on the action, we actually chose the Falkor Defense, the 7LW, the lightweight. And the reason we chose that is I really don't want a 21 or 22 pound PRS rifle. I wanted something that was solid, had very little recoil, but was still very easy to manage. This rifle, as you see it, weighs just over 18 pounds, and that is with everything that you see. The action on the Falkor 7LW only weighs in at a little over 1 pound when you include the rail for the scope. So it's right at a pound without it. They've done a lot of lightning. It is an extremely smooth action, just like you would expect from the Falkors. About the only other actions that I felt this smooth are the actual Defiance actions. It is very smooth, very similar to a Kelby action as well, because these are buttery smooth. I'm not expecting much with factory ammo. If we get sub MOA, I think that's good enough. You guys know as well as I do, as long as factory ammo can hold a minute or less, you can shoot pretty much any match. And then at a later time, we'll explore doing some hand loads with the 6GT, trying some things like the 105s, 109s, and then also some of the 112 match burners from Barnes. So let's go ahead and get to shooting it. Enough talking, here we go. All right, so one of the first things that I noticed about this build is the ability for it to balance without any type of weights or anything else. Now, I know a lot of guys actually measure just right here in front of the magwell, but that's gonna make it nose heavy. You can actually go about 6 inches and have it completely balanced right at 6 inches out. I'll actually place it on here without a bag, and you guys can see it even without a tripod. That is 5.5, almost 6 inches out from a perfect balance point, because I hate actually running weights on the chassis. It's just something that's obstructed, it's out in the way. I also wanted something where if I wanted to rest my hand anywhere, I didn't have to worry about touching the top of the barrel. So when you actually use a game changer, it actually balances out extremely well. You can push it, you don't even have to go all the way up to the magwell. I have to actually push it back some to get it on its balance point. So it's absolutely perfect with regards to that. So what we're gonna do is, I've got a rudimentary 0 at 100 yards. We'll just immediately take it out to 700 or so and just shoot here. Right now with the factory ammo, I'm running somewhere around 2,900 feet per second, and I'm holding somewhere around 4 to 4.1 mils on a little 10-inch steel. All right, so the ammunition is just going to be the Hornady Match, the 6GT. What we'll do is we'll do 500, 600, and 700 yards, and we'll just see how it does. I'll move around the different positions and whatnot and see how she shoots. All right, so I've got 7 rounds loaded up in here. What we'll do is we'll start at 500 yards, and that is going to be about 2.4, I believe. Nice smooth feeding. Impact, impact, and then we'll go to 600. About 3.2 somewhere in there for this factory ammo. Impact, impact, and then we'll go 700. You know what I'll do is I'll go back up to the top for 700. Now guys, that if you shoot out here, it is a 10-inch steel at 700 yards. So this has got to be a pretty solid shot. All right, here we go. Just over the top of it. Impact. So yeah, it's going to be more like 4.0. So let me dial 4.0 and do that at 700 on just a little over MOA target. Guys, I don't know if you're paying attention to the recoil, but it is extremely minimal, extremely soft shooting. All right, so I'm on 1.5. Holding 2/10. Impact. Impact.
Yep, left side.
Yep, left side elevation looked good.
A 10th left to center. The elevation is good. Try a 0.8 wind.
Ready?
Yeah.
Impact.
You hit.
Impact.
That was it. You killed a bird.
I know. So that yeah, there was a bird.
And the plate just spun left. You know that was not even managing the recoil, because I normally I would lean in, but it's teetering the barricade, and so that was essentially no recoil management firing, and it came up. We'll have to review the trigger cam footage.
Yeah.
So you know I'm not making stuff up, but
yeah,
that was no recoil management. That was the shot, and the target was you know, they're leaning left and right, but here, I'll aim at that one. No recoil management. Oh, missed it.
So this is 1,000 yards?
All right, guys, so now we've got a little over 1,000. It's like 1014. I'm going to go ahead and mill this. This target measures out at a little over 1,000 yards. So I believe we have the trigger cam going. I'm in an awkward position because of the height of the knee, but let's see if I can get everything timed right. I'm going to hold half right. Impact, left edge. Guys, that's super, super soft. All right, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna compare it to another really nice build, and this is something that you'd mostly see at any of the matches. This is actually a Defiance action. It's in 6 Creedmoor, and we'll just look and see what the recoil is like. It does have, it's a full MDT gun pretty much. The chassis is an ACC. It does have the MDT brake on here with the SkyPod, tangent theta, and then the Brandt built level that you can attach to your LRA level, which keeps you from having to basically focus your attention off to one side or the other. So this one's chambered in 6 Creedmoor. Let's go ahead and shoot this at 700. Remember, we are shooting at a 10-inch round, and we'll just see what the recoil looks like. All right, so for balance, guys, you can see that it's still gonna be a little bit butt heavy here. So even on this setup, now this does have an MTU contour. On this setup, you're gonna see that even if we're all the way forwards up against the mag well, she's still gonna be a little bit butt heavy. And it's not the end of the world. Of course, it's actually gonna come down to the shooter when it comes to any of this stuff. But what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna shoot it for recoil. Let me go ahead and grab a mag here. And we will do 700. Just from this position, I'm gonna hold them with the same tension and everything else. It might or might not hit, but here we go. Just high. So really soft. I do lose it for just a moment under recoil, but it's only for just a second. I can still spot my impacts at that 700-yard distance because it gives it time for the bullet to get there. Let's go ahead and switch over to the GT, same exact spot. All right, so same setup. You guys can see I can actually pull this back a little bit and still be on the balance point. So I don't even have to jam into the mag well, so it's just gonna make it a little more stable for me. So we'll go ahead and go 700. And I can definitely spot that almost the entire way. Just lose it for just a moment. And that's the comparison in recoil. All right, another beauty of the 6GT is you can use full-length 308 magazines. You don't need a spacer or a fit kit or anything like that. So I've got 2 rounds in each of these. We have the MDT, the hybrid mag. We'll see how it runs. We'll do the MDT polymer. Then we'll do a mag pull, the AICS. Then I also have an MDT metal mag, and then an American Rifle Company. I haven't had good luck with this magazine for some reason. That American Rifle Company is very finicky on which chassis it actually fits. So let me just try to do, like, pretend it's a speed stage. We'll do 5 mag changes. I'll have somebody hand me the mag, and we'll just do 2 rounds each. And we'll do it at 500 yards on a 3rd IPSC. All right, so we're gonna make this real simple. What we'll do is we'll start off with the hybrid first, and we'll pretend it's a speed stage, and here we go. Both of those are impacts. Now we're going to go with the polymer mag from MDT. Now we're going to go with a mag pull, just a standard AICS. And then now we're going to try the MDT metal mag. And then we'll try the American Rifle. Hey, it actually seats in this one. And that's it. So no issues with this JP chassis. That was 10 rounds, which is what you're typically going to shoot a PRS stage with anyway. So it's not finicky in that regard. So I'm pretty impressed with that. That's 10 rounds very quickly, something you'd normally do during a PRS match, 10 to 12 rounds. All the magazines seem to do well, no issues, and typically you're not going to be going through that many mag changes. All right, so I hope everyone enjoyed that review of what I call the ultimate PRS build. I think it's going to suit my needs really well. The verdict is still out on the Brooks barrel. I will tell you, it is just sub MOA. It is not much more than that. I think the groups that I shot were about 0.8 or so, but we were trying to beat this rain. Big shout out to everyone that watches the channel. Guys, I really appreciate it. I can't tell you how much. Hopefully we get this channel to grow. All right, so I'm not going to let this heart attack stop me. I'm actually going to go next Tuesday. I'm going to leave out to the Middle East. I'm going to go into Jordan, see the Dead Sea. I'll try to report on all of that, get you guys some videos. And I'm going to go down to Cairo, check out the pyramids. So that should be some cool footage. And then finish up in Europe somewhere and probably visit 1 or 2 gun manufacturers. So that should be pretty good. So stay tuned. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Give your family a hug and a kiss every single day. Tell them you love them. Could be your last. All right, so a little bit of added bonus. One of the drills that I like to do that can help quite a bit, especially if you're a newer shooter, is getting on that target very quickly. So make sure that your power is adjusted right in your scope. I practice at 700 on that 10-inch steel, so it's just a little over a minute, but not quite a minute and a half. And then I'll start behind the barricade. Choose all the different positions that you want. Now, if you're getting in a kneeling, it might take longer, but your goal should be under 10 seconds to start. So here we go, 700 yards. I'll wait on the buzzer. And the time on that was 7.96. So as a rule of thumb, if you can do that within 8 seconds or less, that's pretty good. Especially if you're working at those intermediate distances where you're going to take most of your shots, which is going to be like 400 to 600 yards. All right, now with regards to this MDT shot timer, I'm not a big fan of it. It was really cool to actually get. It was a unique design. I think MDT has now distanced themselves away from the shot timer. I will tell you, I've been using it for about a month now, and I have one issue where it locked up and it took forever to get it to restart. It wouldn't let me turn it off. It's like none of the buttons work. It is a unique design because it does have a magnetic clip and you can do your delays and everything else. It also has an app where you can superimpose your shot timer with the footage that's on here.
Ready.
6.98. So it actually works really, really well. I'll see if I can do that and you guys can see that. All right, so it's been an awesome day at the range. I actually have 1 round of 6GT left. Let's see if we can end this on a winner. We'll try 700 yards offhand, and it will be a man steel, a torso at 700. I'm trying to wait for him to shut up so that if I hit it, you guys can actually hear the impact. All right, here we go.